Welcome to the Delmarva Almanac. Each week we connect you to the best of Delmarva. I'm your host, Dana Kester McCabe. Megan Mudron is a biology teacher in the Indian River School District. Her fiancé, Brett Hines, is the assistant brewmaster at a new microbrewery in West Rehoboth called Revelation Brewery. Together, this hard-working young couple, who will be married in June, run Naturally Kissed Farm in Bishopville. I recently visited them and took a tour of their family farm.
Well, my parents have owned this property for 25 years, and I grew up here. Our farm is right back there, the little tiny 25 by 25 plot, and we always grew tomatoes and herbs and a little bit of things in the summer, and it slowly expanded. We've had chickens, we've had ducks, we've had geese, and Brett and I met about 5 years ago now, and we had no intention of farming at first, and we moved to Colorado. We actually became part of a CSA ourselves, and our friends really inspired us to begin farming and growing our own food, and we thought we would come back here, make use of this beautiful property that we are fortunate enough to be able to grow on, and be able to share that with other people as well now that we're back.
We've planted a asparagus bed, we've planted hops for what we use for home brewing. We've planted strawberry patches. We help encourage the natural berries and that we have along the tree line to keep them clear and pruned. And then we also grow, of course, lots of warm season summer crops that we do predominantly sell as our cash crops.
Megan and Brett grow just about all of their own food. It is fresher and often more nutritious than what can be found in local supermarkets, where the produce often comes from across the country or even from places as far away as Chile. They are part of a growing number of people returning to small, sustainable family farming. This relies less on chemical fertilizers and pesticides and more environmentally friendly practices. They call their approach practiculture.
We do everything as best as we can with as much knowledge as we've gained, which is we're always learning. We do use organic compost and organic seeds wherever we can find them, and the very few pesticides we spray are organic based. However, we're in the middle of corn and soybean land, and so there may be some blowover from that. So we're not saying it's perfect, we're not organic certified, and we probably won't choose that route. But we try to make the best decisions and the most honest decisions that we can. Right now we have a lot of kale, kale being one of the brassicas Brett mentioned. We also have arugula, sorrel, and turnips out in the field, and we planted those I think in October. They lasted through the winter, and they go dormant, and we've put zero work in since maybe November, October-ish. And they're growing great, so we're able to harvest that almost year-round. Mm-hmm. They'll start to bolt with the warm weather, so this is the second round is getting ready to go out. And depending on our season, I don't know if we will get another frost again. It's been so warm, so they'll probably go out in the next maybe week and a half.
One aspect of sustainable farming is the use of local sources for anything the grower needs, thereby reducing the amount of fossil fuels ultimately needed to produce their food. Another is the approach to livestock. You may have heard of free-range animals. This does not mean simply letting all the animals run free on the farm. Rather, the farmer has a system of rotating the livestock to various fenced areas to graze ground cover crops and dried feed supplements. The animals are happier and less susceptible to disease.
We have heritage breed pigs that we raise from a farm in Parsonsburg.
It's called Brittingham
Family Farms. We've supported them for 2 years now, and they have given us top quality pasture raised pigs, which to get through some of the marketing terms, whether it's pasture based means that they live on grass or out in the woods, and they have full access to outside. And we keep our pigs in a 4-pen rotation pasture, and we rotate the pigs from pen to pen all at one time every 7 days. That helps incorporate a nomadic movement of them as they would naturally be. So it always keeps something new and fresh for them to dig up, or some sprouts that have regrown since they were there before, which helps keep the parasites and bugs down that would negatively affect their digestive tract. It allows us to not have to use preventative antibiotics because we counteract that with just management intensive practices.
Our goal is to raise them to about 250 to 300 pounds live weight, and that might be 5 to 6 months of age. So they grow really fast. A full-grown pig is somewhere like 800 pounds, and we do not want an 800-pound pig.
Nor would we be able to process
right.
it.
That would be difficult for us.
Well, so let's also talk about your chickens and eggs.
So we have, I think, about 50 to 60 laying hens, and so they're also on a rotation where they will eat for a couple of days on one spot, and they will fertilize that spot, of course, naturally, which we don't have to move. It's all kind of a closed system, and it stays right where they eat, and we move them to the next place. And so the ground gets quite a bit of rest, a couple months probably, from being grazed, because chickens like to scratch and so on, and they get to pick up all the bugs they want. They get to eat all of the great protein heavy food that they want, and of course give us the best possible eggs.
Megan and Brett have learned how to prioritize their efforts and the value of an ongoing education that comes best from community.
We tried to do everything, and we tried to plant, I don't know, something like 90 varieties of things last year, and we took on a little too much. So maybe
That's an understatement.
That's an understatement for sure. So maybe we would choose to focus on things that we really liked and that we really enjoyed eating ourselves, instead of worrying about what we were trying to market to everyone else.
What draws us to agriculture ultimately is the community at large. Throughout history, from what I've learned, community circles around food, and there's nothing that makes Megan and I happier than being around people, especially when we're enjoying a good meal, especially when it's good, honest food, and we're able to be in an environment that's conducive to ideas. And a farm just seems to be that in not necessarily all farms, but the farm that we're trying to be a part of, and the farms that we've been attracted to, that we have seen that do exist, and we're trying to create that.
Get a link to Megan and Brett's Naturally Sun-Kissed Farm website on our website. That's also where you'll find out about other small farms that have local CSAs where you can buy a share. You may want to do that soon because spaces will run out. We also have links to local farmers markets and grocers who sell locally grown produce, meat, and dairy products. Find out more at delmarvaalmanac.com/living. Well, that's all for this edition of the Delmarva Almanac. Be sure to follow us on Facebook or Twitter, and next week join us to learn more about our local culture and get connected to our natural wonders. If you'd like to become an underwriter for this program, visit delmarvaalmanac.com/support. We'd like to thank our community partners, the Friends of Delmarva Public Radio, the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore, and underwriters eatdrinkbuyart.com for their help in bringing this program to you, our audience. Our theme music was provided by Brightside Studio. This show has been a Moonshell production. Thanks for listening. Until we meet again, may the rhythms and tides of Delmarva bring you good fortune.